5:58 p.m. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Yeah, can you shut that door?
I was just gonna do that in my phone room, so.
Present and accounted for Renee O'Donnell, Brian Carlisle, Lucille Cindy DeBeck, and Cindy Grant. We have any public comment? I would say not. So we're going to move on to the warrants. Warrants, AP warrant number 45 for $6,590.79. AP warrant number 46 for $29,874.94. PY warrant for number 47 for $10,977.03. AP warrant number 48 for $202,811.68. And PY warrant number 49 for $452.13. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the warrants as read. Second, all in favor, 3-0. Okay, no abatements or supplements. Did you guys read the minutes, and if so, do you have any changes?
No.
You're all set?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I will make a motion that we accept the minutes for February 6th and February 9th of 2023. That's
Yes,
supposed to be
2023.
2023.
You guys didn't catch that?
As written. The minutes reflect the correct dates.
Oh, okay.
So, the minutes reflect the correct dates, so.
Yep.
So I made a motion. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor, 3-0. Any agenda adjustments? No. Okay.
I have a couple of things on my report, but.
Okay, all right. So we'll go right to fire and rescue. We have the February report. Hello, Brent, how are you tonight?
Good, how are you guys doing?
Good, good.
Good. The report pretty much says it all. It was a slow,
Yeah.
quiet
Quiet
month for a change.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad
It's
thing.
not a bad thing in this line of work, believe me.
Didn't have
We've had a really good month again, 5 out of 6 for rescue calls responded to. It doesn't sound nearly as good as the month before for totals, but it still was a good month. We have done a bunch of trainings, and we are starting our EMS trainings now. We have a training tonight actually over in the office. We have Carmel here tonight to do a search and rescue training classroom type scenario work. So that's what we're headed to as soon as I'm done here. The biggest thing that we've got, I brought in some paperwork to Cindy this morning, and Cindy's reviewing it for us to sit down and go over. And we have a couple grants that we are trying to get information together for so that we can
Okay,
move forward with the Tabitha King, Stephen and Tabitha King grant, the firehouse sub grant, and unfortunately, Neil just informed me we missed the AFG grant by 1 day when he put it in. I didn't know that.
It's always next year.
He just informed me.
yeah.
So, literally 1 day off.
Exactly.
But we are moving forward with the other two, so hopefully those will go a little bit better on time.
Okay,
He got his vacation out of the way. I'm hoping now is he'll be back focused to being back home. The only other thing that I really have for you guys is on April 6th, we are having our officers meeting, and the officers would like to invite you guys to come to the meeting with us. It won't be the whole duration, it'll be short and sweet, but we just wanted to get you guys in with us, go over some of the stuff that's going on, show you some of the things that we're working on, planning on with the new building and that type of stuff. And then if you have any questions or anything that you wanna,
it's just our department's
Yeah.
officers meeting.
yeah, officers meeting for us, the
What time do you have that?
6th.
6 p.m. here
Yeah,
on April 6th.
April 6th, it'll be out back where our office is.
Okay,
If you guys could, and that's also for you, Cindy, obviously, not just the selectmen, but you as well. If you want to be there at that time, and I understand if you want to get out and go home, but it's unfortunately I have to wait for everybody to get out of work, so. But that pretty much wraps up for the month of February.
all right.
Pretty quiet.
Well, that's good, like I said,
I'll take it.
yeah, no news is usually good news.
Absolutely, and this, we've had, I mean, we had a couple unfortunate calls already this month here that's ended not so well, so we, I'll take February as a blessing.
Okay, good, thank you,
So.
Brent.
All right, you folks have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. So library's all quiet?
Yeah,
They have volunteers in there,
yeah.
right?
We have Ann Beck and Ann, I can't remember her last name. And then we have another lady that comes in and helps them, and, oh, I really am bad with names.
Oh, no, so am I, very bad.
Ben Herbist's daughter comes in and volunteers. She has for quite a while.
Good, okay,
So, and they're doing really well. They're
good.
doing really well.
Animal control's all quiet?
Animal control is quiet.
Okay.
She actually, in here a week and a half ago, had maybe 2 weeks, had a really bad car accident.
Oh,
And-
she did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
So, but.
She okay?
She had a leg injury.
Minor injury, hope.
No, it was major.
Yeah.
She's got like 60-some stitches. But she's on the mend and she's still doing her thing.
Wonderful, good.
Her partner's helping her fill in and
Good.
stuff. And
Yeah, that's wonderful.
she's doing good.
Okay, so town manager, you are up.
Okay, so I gave you the bank recs for January and February,
Yep.
budget reports for February.
Okay,
Our first budget committee meeting is next Monday, at 5 o'clock. And I am going to be attending, 2 out of the 4 budget meetings for the school, just to kind of get an idea of where we're gonna stand with the school.
okay.
And the other thing that I have, I met with a lady today, she's a resident here in town, her name is Annie Boytz. And I have approved her, she wants to volunteer like Renee does to do the stretching class. But it's for kids and it's yoga.
Oh,
So she's not charging them or anything, so I'm not charging her and
okay,
see if it works out,
And
see what
she-
kind of get,
right, she's a resident?
she is a resident,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, and she's actually a certified children's yoga instructor. She moved here from Oregon,
Oh,
and she gave me her insurance, she's insured,
oh,
so
very good,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plus.
yeah.
So, was there anything else? The only other thing is the salt bid. So, last year we made out pretty good, but, if you are okay with it, I'll submit to buy the salt from the county with their big bid that we've
do
been
it all
doing
the
it
time.
for years,
Yes,
up until
exactly,
last year.
yeah, that's fine.
So, I will put it in for the normal, let's see, what do we do? I think it's 99, 192.
192 ton for the salt bid.
So, if you're okay with that, I'll submit that.
Yep.
And other than that, everything's on the agenda.
Okay. So let's move on to the well, first of all.
Nothing on the cemetery. All right, so the well. So you know that we had an inspection from the state, and they are now changed our designation so that we are required to have a certified water operator. And I
Right.
did find one.
I remember you said a local
Yeah.
person.
The school has agreed to pay for him.
Okay.
One of the other things that they required was to replace the cap on the well.
Right.
So I went over to FW Webb's and I got a new well cap. and went out and took the old one off and thought it was just, it's not that easy.
Okay.
The top of the well is decaying and flaking off,
Okay,
so for $500,
yeah,
what's his name, the well driller?
oh,
Where's he located?
the one we
Herman.
always, the
McLeod.
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 yeah,
Ted McLeod
Ted.
was gonna come over, cut it off and weld it, just same thing he did at the fire station, and weld a new piece on,
Okay,
put the new cap on.
okay, that's fine.
He said it'd be around $500,
Yeah.
so.
Just stay on them, because they're busy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, he said he'd be here this week sometime, so we'll see. He
okay,
will be. And of course, John doesn't wanna do tests until that's done,
yeah, I don't,
which, and I told Ted that we were under the gun here, cause I gotta have the first quarter done by the end of March.
right,
So, yeah, so that's where we are with the well.
okay, all right. So trash, we
Trash bids.
We got the trash bids here.
Yep,
Do you guys read these bids?
Yeah, the Casella one was pretty lengthy, and it really didn't tell us a
Well,
whole
they
lot.
didn't give us a 3-year bid, they only gave us a first-year bid, a first-year investment.
And then what it would increase.
And these are only for transportation, right? Then we gotta add on the
Tipping fees.
tonnage.
well, the tonnage we paid separately anyway.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's some big differences here.
yeah,
Yeah.
Are we, I mean, we currently use Sullivan's,
yeah,
and for the most part, we've been pretty happy with Sullivan's. And they are the low bid here. Does anybody have any
I think it's what you call a no-brainer.
objection to Sullivan's? Yeah, thank you.
Sullivan's is the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And they're doing better about slinging trash cans around and stuff like that.
So
Not
last
setting
year's
them in
clean,
the middle of the road.
last year's cleanup was 9,000. We're gonna, one annual cleanup charged at state wages for trucks and workers.
yep,
So that last year's cleanup was tonnage plus, this total, where I'm going with this is, state wages, trucks and workers, and
the
tonnage.
tonnage is separate.
Tonnage is separate,
Yeah. We pay the tonnage out of our tonnage budget.
I
okay.
didn't think it was that expensive last year.
I didn't think it was either, that's why I said
Well, you
that.
didn't see,
I think it did, because I think
I
they were
looked
both
it
on
up.
the warrant. and-
I looked it up,
You did?
yeah,
And it was 9,000?
yeah.
Yeah, fine. I'm happy with this, it's fine with me.
I agree.
Okay, so, I'll make a, do you want a motion?
Mhm.
I'll make a motion that we, allow Cindy to enter a 3-year contract with Sullivan's Waste Disposal and Recycling Services for our trash pickup.
Second.
Second, all in favor? 3-0.
I know in
Thank you.
their bid, they gave you 2 different options for the cleanup.
Right.
They will do the curbside, they really don't want to.
You know what?
The
I don't even wanna go
stationary-
there again, because nobody else does it. I understand their workers' comp issues, I understand
Yep,
trucks and everything else, so we've got it happening over there. It's a learning curve, I understand that, but it's the way it is. Maybe we could extend the time you could drop things off, I don't know, but,
yeah.
I mean, we could,
I may, last year when we scheduled it, we weren't thinking, but I scheduled it on his birthday party.
oh,
But this year will work the scheduling out, so Kitty and I will do half days.
right,
I mean, that was a long day standing there all day,
yeah.
checking people.
We didn't have anybody, like they could only bring it that day, right?
Yes, that's it, we're done.
That, they couldn't like come Friday and leave it
And
for
the
pickup?
compliments that we got from people that were so appreciative that the town didn't look like a dump for a month,
Mm.
you know, and
Yeah, old soggy mattresses out by the
Yeah.
end of the
Somebody's
road.
that-
TV in the ditch, yeah.
that,
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
that's still there.
I think it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it just, it's much, much cleaner this way.
Yeah.
I know,
It requires a little bit more responsibility on the part of the
Yep.
people who want to get rid of things.
yeah,
I understand that, you can't just drag them to the end of your
yeah.
driveway that morning, but stuff isn't piled up for weeks
Yeah.
and you're
I know
right.
in my town, they just voted to, they're not even doing the cleanup, they're doing tickets. People have to take it to DMJ in
Oh.
Ellsworth.
What if, in the town news, if there was somebody, like, some old person can't get the refuse over there, if there was somebody in the town for a fee that would pick up what they needed disposed of and take it over,
That's kinda hard, because then you're gonna get these people to go out and charge people
well, they'd have,
and
yeah,
make a living out of this day.
yeah,
And you
Right,
don't
but
know
that's-
that the trash is coming from residents in town.
well,
That's the
only
hard part.
if, that person is authorized by the town.
That would be hard to, I know what you're saying, that'd be hard to
Yeah.
follow. Even if it's a local person who's gonna pick up, he could be over in Carmel loading up and coming over here
Yeah,
and dumping.
Well, we had, I think it was Craig Rhines last year, and he called. And he said, Cindy, I got this one, and this. They were all family members, didn't have trucks.
yeah,
He goes, and I'm bringing my dump trailer. And I said, no problem, Craig.
yeah.
But, for somebody that I don't know to show up with a pickup truck,
Well, if it was somebody within the town that was willing to do that, like Craig did for his relatives.
right.
Well,
think
I
you
would think somebody would have to come forward and say,
Yeah. ahead
I
of
have a
time.
dump trailer,
Yeah.
if you're an elderly person who needs help. But I don't want to, I don't think we should be managing
Well,
that.
you could just put in the town newsletter that this person is available should you need something transported, and give their number, they can contact them.
Yeah, if there's,
Because if they're reading the Newburgh newsletter, I mean,
yeah.
what are the chances?
I mean,
some-
last year
yeah.
when somebody called, we try to work with them to get somebody to
Yeah.
pick it up or whatever. If somebody's willing.
If there's
to
a volunteer
publicize-
that comes forward, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying, I don't
yeah.
want to appoint somebody.
No, no,
Because that
but if they
that
said
whole
that they were
liability comes back to
available-
us,
Yeah.
you know.
If somebody wants to volunteer to do it,
Yeah,
I don't see why we wouldn't just, let people know who it is.
yeah.
But
That's
I
basically
have
what
to
I'm
be
saying.
guaranteed they're
Yeah.
not charging these people, they're doing it to
Well,
help them out.
maybe for a tip or a donation, it would be voluntary
Yeah,
if they paid them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the mowing bid,
Okay,
he
so.
did a good job breaking this down this year.
He did, and I didn't go out and ask for other bids because he did a really good job. He still was under the amount that we budget.
Right.
So I just got him to give us an updated quote.
I'm comfortable with all these, with all three of these.
I think Gary did a nice presentation.
Did you read it, Brian?
Mhm.
You read all three bids?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any comments on them? I mean,
I didn't recall what we did last year. Do you know how much he went out, like roughly?
Let's see.
I think the roadside
Yeah.
mowing was about the same.
Yeah, no,
That
it's
sounds-
not far off, so
No.
don't
No,
bother.
there's a little bit of an increase in the cemetery mowing.
Right.
I have to tell you, this town has the worst cemeteries for these guys to try to maintain. Because we have what, 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
3 that the stones are this far apart.
Yeah.
And those older cemeteries
We
are
were-
a pain,
Yeah,
so,
Okay.
and, he's done, I thought it might show in here, but it's not gonna.
That's all right, I know
He-
it's not that far off.
he did a
Yeah.
really
Just
nice
curious.
job. everything's gone up.
So, would you like a,
Yeah,
Motion?
just a motion to
I'll
review these three.
make a motion that we accept the bid from municipal mowing, and property service for our 23 roadside mowing, fire pond mowing, and cemetery mowing. I want to accept all three bids.
I second it.
Second, okay, all in favor, 3-0. So our property tax ratio, we got a wonderful letter from our lovely Jackie, who I do really like, but I don't like what she has to say sometimes.
Yeah,
So our ratio is 73%.
yep.
10% from last year's increase is not factored into this. What does she mean by that?
Well, the state runs a couple of years behind in their paperwork,
Okay,
so the numbers they're giving us this year doesn't take into effect the increase we had last year.
Will that take effect next year?
Yes.
So we will be at 83%, and they want us at 92%
Yes,
in order to claim 100%
yes,
and give us maximum reimbursements in homestead, tree growth, and veterans, etc.
yes.
She says we can increase our valuations 15% for this year across the board on land and buildings, or we could increase building values 20% and leave the land where it is. Another idea is to increase buildings and increase the backland, which is valued at $630 an acre to somewhere closer to $1,000. Sales do appear to be slowing down, but I see no sign of value reduction. So what do you think about that?
I think the values have gone down.
No, it's going to the state.
No, I was gonna say, that's not for us to decide either, really. What we have to decide is what we wanna do about the increase for the valuations.
I don't think it makes a thinker's damn, because it's all dependent on what we put through for budget. and
Right.
It's just hocus pocus figures.
When does she have to have this decided?
When we do the,
Taxation.
Right,
when we do the.
right, so we've got some time.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, all right, so we can chew on it a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, hey. Okay, so going on to the change order for the fire station. And the spreadsheet on the expense.
Yep, I gave you,
So this is the change order for the septic system, is that what I'm looking at, Cindy?
no, well,
The well, dig the well. So the well has been done,
well done.
so it actually cost $9,600? I haven't dug a well in a long time.
300 feet deep and 50 gallons a minute.
Wow, oh, that's good.
But
So-
with the changes, because we're changing, so they can fill trucks. Right there at the station.
It was
Oh, wow.
96 instead of 85.
Right, they budgeted 85.
Right, we budgeted 85 and it ended up being 96.10. So the difference is $7,879.
What?
No, it's not, it's not 7,000. The difference in the final budget, you mean? Or,
Just for the
700,
well.
Right, 700.
700.
Oh, 700.
yeah, 7, 8.
Yeah. Sorry. I read it wrong.
It's actually, hold on a minute. It's actually,
No, it is $7,879.
Not 8,500 to 9,600. That's $1,110.
The change order?
are you talking about
I
the,
don't know what you're
The
looking
actual
at.
cost of the well is
Is 96,
96.10, and what we had
was 85.
was 85,
so a difference of $1,110,
yeah.
additional cost. 11.0. Met by previously authorized change orders. Contract sum to date. Because the well is increased, but the pump, they've got the pump cost. So the total cost for the well, she's right, is $16,379,
Yeah.
and they carried less allowance on the contract was $8,500.
Right, so they want us to approve the difference.
Right, exactly. So I'll just check their math, I'm sure it's correct. $78.79, right.
And I don't have this change order on this spreadsheet.
Okay.
Because they probably had to go with a different pump.
How could a pump be that expensive?
It's a big pump.
Half horsepower? Standard pump, 1/2 horsepower?
Gallons per minute, 5.
So what you're saying is the pump wasn't included to begin with? That doesn't make sense.
Well,
Oh, there's
I
a
think the whole
notation
thing
down
was
below your
included in
book
the
pump.
8,500.
That's not even close.
Okay,
So
you
there's-
see the, right under where it says difference, this notation, it's about the difference in the pump.
To add 1 1/2 inch truck fill, this will require a constant pressure pump, 2 horsepower, 33 gallons per minute, and will require us to dig up the existing 1-inch pipe and wire and replace them with larger wire and pipe.
Right.
This would be an additional cost of $7,447.
Holy cow. Do we really need to fill the trucks like that?
It's up to you.
And the well drill is coming from Alexander.
He's been here and gone, Wells in.
Yeah, well's already in.
Yeah. And he, so who's going to be putting the pump in?
I would imagine he'll come back and do it, or the electrician will put it in. Probably the electrician. Yeah, 'cause the well driller won't. They'd hire an electrician and
So
Carmel
this-
Electric's doing all the electrical work there.
This change order is actually for the $15,326, which is the difference in the well of $78.79,
Plus.
plus the $7,447 for the truck fill.
Right,
So this change order is actually for $15,000,
yes.
or a little over. Do we have anything else anticipated here besides our septic bed was not anticipated, and that's is that in this yet? The septic system?
Yes, you already approved.
We already approved the septic bed, okay.
Yes, that was
My point being,
change order number 3.
if I'm on board with $15,000, are we gonna get hit with anything else?
This is
That I
change
couldn't
order.
tell you.
We said we had to widen, we gotta widen the drive,
We've gotta do the driveway.
and that's not in here.
Well, that's not part of their contract, and I don't think
No.
it should be. I think we should discuss that with Wellman's after the fact.
But it's still some extra money we're gonna have to come up with.
Yeah, it's 15,000, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Well, you're gonna be surprised that I'm gonna say this, but if you've got a brand-new station and you can't fill a truck there,
I agree.
you know, I hate to say it because I think it's quite an expense. I think we could have done a little bit better at estimating the cost of a well instead of just $8,500. I would have assumed that included the pump.
Well, part of the thing is his estimate came from Ted McLeod.
Yeah,
And Ted McLeod's almost a year out and he couldn't wait.
right, right,
So he got Lord's
yeah.
to come up and do
That
it.
doesn't surprise me, yeah.
And that's, yeah,
So that's that, right there.
yeah.
So we've taken care of the trench drains.
Yep,
And the other part of that,
yep, we've done the trees, we've done the septic, we've done the trench drains. We added on the generator and the pavement around the new building. Hopefully, the only thing we'll have left will be the driveway
right.
that we can do.
But we can put that out to bid, I think we
Right,
keep that in-house
Right.
and do that ourselves,
right,
yeah.
and, you know, we're still, you know, we have the 1.6. And we're at 1.311, not counting this 15.
Well, if we do the 15, we're at $1,326,883.
Yeah,
But our fund balance, we said we could take up to
600.
600,000 out of our fund balance. So if we take half that amount, that's still pretty good. But I would like to keep the reins pretty tight from here on
Yeah.
out, you
Yep.
know. Because we'll still have to, you know, do the finishes. We have to buy the appliances inside, right?
I'm not sure, I'll have to check. Because we have a refrigerator
Yeah.
down there, and, you know,
Didn't they
almost-
take one out of the school here?
Right.
Where's that? Put it right down there.
Yeah.
They have a refrigerator, and I've run into this week. Stove, I know that we can get an electric stove donated,
Yeah.
you know. And I think can't remember if they had put a dishwasher in there or not, but I really.
I don't
need
think
a
there's,
dishwasher.
I don't remember a dishwasher being in there.
So, the other thing.
Nor do I think it's necessary.
Is, we are gonna have to pay, I've gotta get the, company that put our repeater system in
To move,
to transfer that up. And I'm gonna have to, get the I am responding transferred up. And I
Right.
don't foresee that that's gonna be a lot of money.
Right.
When it was brought up this week. We're just gonna transfer that older equipment, the old radio, you know, the old, well, the repeater system isn't old, but
No.
there's an old radio down there that runs, you hear it when you come in. We're just gonna take it down. You know, if it needs a cleaning, fine, but for right now, we're not gonna buy all brand new stuff.
right,
To
let's,
go in this building, we just can't afford it.
right, let's go
You
into
know,
the building
We've gotta
first.
go into the building, take what we've got
Right,
and, go from there.
right.
And it need, if we
That
want a
radio
new
is a-
radio, then we're gonna have to,
Is it like
Yeah.
a base radio
it
for?
is,
Yeah.
it is, it's just the one that you hear all the chatter on.
God, I wish I'd known that. We have base radio, of course.
Yeah,
We thought it was connected to all 4 towers,
yeah,
so
So-
anyway.
but, we're gonna take what we've got down there, whether it be hose racks or whatever, and we'll get up here, and then we will work slowly to either get what is wanted or replace what
Something,
is there
yeah.
if needed.
Yeah,
Like, we just can't afford to go out and outfit this building brand new.
yeah.
Just can't do it.
Well, let's get into the building first and then see what
Yeah.
we wanna do.
I mean, they're gonna need a hose rack, they're gonna need a few things,
Right.
hose drying rack, because they have a hose tower down there.
Do they have money left over in their budget that we could, buy some things out of their budget?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they're gonna have much,
Okay.
but, it's all a waiting game, and we're gonna have to do it a little at a time, believe me.
Okay.
They're not liking me when I say, we're gonna do this a little bit at a time.
Right,
You know, we cannot go after the taxpayers for a showpiece.
Right.
This is a truck bar,
right,
that's all it is.
right.
Get it functional.
Yes,
Yes, yeah,
that's an old radio. You know, we have to take that over to Atlantic and have it cleaned up and have them come over and put a new antenna up and hook it up, so be it,
yeah.
you know?
As long as it functions.
Well, maybe,
Exactly.
maybe by then they could do some research to see if somebody was getting rid of a radio.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truck garages that use
Yeah.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
so anyway, okay, all right.
So, believe me, I'm not making a lot of burn pool,
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes.
holding them reins on that money.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about this change order? That's all I have to say about that.
I think we're gonna have to swallow the, swallow the pill.
Hopefully, this is gonna be the last big change order.
Right,
Yeah, if it keeps them from having to go find water in a farm pond,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then,
Yeah,
yeah, 'cause he might suck up a rock.
last
vote on
thoughts, last thoughts? Before I make a motion? Okay. I'm on your page, I'm feeling
I
your
know,
pain,
I know.
but
Mhm.
remember, we're still got $1 million. Hope, fingers crossed, we're getting $1 million toward our project. So I'll make a motion that we give Cindy permission to sign the change order with J.M. Brown for $15,326.00.
I second it.
Brian, don't
All in
have nothing to
favor?
do with it.
All in favor? 3-0. All right. So, I just had something I was gonna ask you about this. I don't know, I've lost it, so it slipped through the cracks, so.
Hey, do we have anything in the works about getting the other building appraised?
I am,
That-
yes, but I'm working
Because
on
that
it.
would help me a little bit. Soothe me a little bit.
Soothe you, yes, exactly, exactly.
That's a nice piece of property, so.
Well, it is and it isn't, it's a filled lot, which is difficult,
Well,
not difficult.
compacted.
not difficult to work with, but, you know, engineers don't particularly like. a
Somebody will
filled lot.
want it.
Yeah, somebody will want it,
Somebody will want it.
absolutely,
That's
And
about it.
they'll pay the price.
yeah. No foreclosed property information, no information on the foreclosed property. Or
No,
tax map
No.
conversion.
nope, they're still working on it, haven't heard a word from him.
Okay, so what about this cyber assessment?
Okay, so there was a couple of things that I forgot on my report. One was this cyber assessment.
Okay,
The insurance company, in order to continue cybersecurity coverage, is now requiring us to have one of these. So we adjusted it to us. We just wanted you to look it over and,
Whoever has access to the computer and emails and like that.
Nate is really good with our security. We have, because we have Spillman, and that's required, that we have a lot of security. But we, like I said, we adjusted this. I'll have all of them that deal with computers sign one, and they, I believe they have to be sent
to the insurance company, is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yes.
All right. I don't know anything about cybersecurity, so I'm just gonna have to believe your.
I just wanted you to read it over, see if there's anything that stuck out to you or whatever, so. Bathrooms. The boys and girls room, I met with Nick. Had a very good meeting. I explained about those bathrooms needing updating, so he told me to get an estimate, I did.
Okay,
They've agreed to pay for it,
okay,
a little over $5,000.
okay,
And Nichols is coming the week of April vacation, the 18th, I believe, and 19th,
good,
and replace the remaining toilets that need replacing in those bathrooms, because the toilets are really old, so
okay.
that's being done. Building security. Did you make any decisions on that? Have you?
I told him went to Lemons. We, I don't know if Cindy's said anything to you, but they ran into a brick wall as far as that recommended place in Herman to have a system installed.
Okay,
You weren't here, I think, when I had some estimates of what it would take, or what I thought it would take to, you know, to properly do this building.
right,
And Nate had recommended this outfit in Herman to contact to get a system. And like I said, Cindy had no response for them, so we're really back to square one. I found some outlets for some, you know, what looks like suitable systems, but they're very expensive, you know. The system alone is probably around $15,000.
wow,
Whereas the one that I kind of look at as more homeowner-ish type
right,
that I can get through mail order, and it's one I'm somewhat familiar with. I had it at my business, and you know, you can get them for about $15,000. Still, my problem is that you only have, I think, 100-foot run on the cable before you need some extensive boosting.
I see, okay,
So then I got thinking, if we get the less expensive system, we could at least monitor the sides and the front
right,
and rooms inside the building, because you'd have, I think it was 12 cameras.
okay,
And if we really felt it necessary, there's no reason why we couldn't get another system to do the back. I mean,
okay.
it's not
If they're
that
gonna do a
expensive for
drug deal, they'll do it
$1,000.
out back.
What's that?
If they're gonna do a drug deal on the premises,
And
they'll
maybe
do it
that's
out
valid,
back.
yeah, that could be a
Yeah.
valid thing to do, is, you know,
And there
monitor
are other
that.
companies, I think, that do security. I don't know, do we wanna try to find another? The only problem with, doing our own system and hooking it up, is maintenance. I don't know who's gonna maintain it if something happens.
You really, it's more computer than anything else.
It's not me.
And it's not as though it's so expensive that you're out a lot if you start to have
How much
malfunctions.
is a minor, is a small system like what you're talking about?
$1,000, about $1,000
Oh,
for the
that's-
system, and plus the installation, you know, so if you figure another 1,500, I guess,
Right.
is that what we ballparked? I forget now what it was, but
Well, $2,500 is not such a huge investment to have some security. We have no cameras or anything, correct?
We have cameras inside the building, but
Ins-
nothing outside.
Nothing outside the building, all right. I mean, I mean, I'm not opposed, I don't, like I said, I don't think $2,500 is that big of an investment if 3 or 4 years down the road you say, well, that's not really, now we found somebody who will really
Can't
install
remember,
something.
what was the Eagle Security one?
that one was about, wasn't it about $6,500? But I did look up the system that they quoted, and that's out of date already, and it was
But they-
only like a
yeah.
4-camera system.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was really not impressive.
Right. What was the guy that we did? We got a security system put in, I can't remember the guy's business name though. I'll look it up. I personally am not very happy with what I have, but that's just me. I wanted a Ring doorbell is what I really wanted. That's all I really wanted. We'll just leave that there. So, I don't know.
This is what I'm talking about, is not really that, it's more of like a computer system where it catches the video, puts it to a hard drive,
Right.
and then you can go back and review it.
So we,
Sometimes you can get some audio, but, you know, being a distance away, the audio isn't that great. But it has a lifespan of, depending on how big your hard drive is and how many cameras are recording to it, you know, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month and a half.
right, right.
And
So
then what it'll
we
do is
we
that-
could store like 90 days worth of,
Generally, it writes over itself.
right,
If you wanted to retain that stuff, what it would require is taking out your hard drive out of that system and replace it with a new hard drive.
oh, okay. Do you
can
think
get-
that's,
You can get big hard drives.
do you think that's necessary?
I wouldn't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
for the most part, if something happens, you're gonna be made aware of it relatively soon.
Right.
So you can then start to go back and
Right,
look around.
see what's going on, yeah.
I wonder what other towns have done.
You can call around.
Yeah, just see what has worked for them and
Because
see
I,
what it costs.
like I said, I don't feel like a $2,500 to $3,000 investment is that big of an investment for security.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even, like I said, even if 5 years down the road, somebody comes along and says, oh, we've got this good system, it's really good, you know, try that, so. If you wanna do a little legwork on that, Cindy.
And I can put together pricing, if you're leaning that way, then I'll kind of fine tune the pricing.
yeah.
Could Will put it up, could Will install it for us?
Well,
He says he's never done before, but he would.
it's
thing
not
is
that
he-
difficult to-
He'll run the lines,
Right,
but wiring the cameras and stuff, he knows nothing about them.
right,
It's just a screw in. It's all you do is screw into the camera.
yeah.
What?
Maybe we
I
could
did-
discuss it with him beforehand, before we purchase and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Have a little
This
chat.
is a techie person talking to a non-techie person. Let's put it that way.
Well, let's have the techie person talk to the
You know,
electrician.
So when
Who's
something
kinda
goes
techie.
wrong with this system, I need someone to call.
Yeah, exactly. One thing let me just make sure we're done here. We've got, that's the cyber assessment.
Yep,
The acceptable use the Town of Newburgh acceptable use agreement. This is the same, I mean,
that's the one that we did,
okay, all right.
yes.
So
That's
it's,
the cybersecurity agreement.
okay, all right.
So, the
Um,
only other thing, you wanted to talk about the calendar.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the calendar. I'm trying to, I've got some things coming up, and we usually have town meeting, like last year, I think it was June 16th, or when was
It's set
it?
this year for the 13th.
Okay, that's a Tuesday.
That's the election part,
Okay, so the meeting would be on the 15th.
on the 15th.
Okay. So, okay,
Because it's generally the second Tuesday of the month, because we have state elections.
okay.
Which is 13.
23
Right.
is the town meeting.
Does that work any better?
No, not really, but that's all right. I'll live with it. We don't really push it out after that, right? Correct?
Well, if we did, we have the school election and the
state
town election
election.
at the same time.
Right,
I mean, the elections we could do on the 13th. The 15th, we can do anytime.
the town meeting on the 15th.
Right.
Okay, let's just leave it on the 15th for right now, because I
It's
don't
gonna
really.
be done in June.
Yeah, it's gotta be done in June,
Yes.
exactly. I don't really want to, half the time, these people make plans and then they don't come. So, which is fine with me. But, and I want it done before the 28th, so, or 29th.
Okay.
So, that's that. I'll just make that note.
So
And,
if you'll know better once we.
yeah, I'll be there, I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
It's that
Alright.
simple. It's pretty much that simple.
There is no state election this year, so it's just gonna be on Tuesday, the town and the
Oh, I
School
see, okay,
ballot.
okay,
Usually we do 3,
okay.
but this year, no state elections in June. So,
Huh,
um,
all right. The other thing, I wanted to mention was, you're starting with the budget committee.
yes.
I just drove across the Lindsay Road. I'm wondering if we could have a discussion. I know that our loan with the state has how many more years on it? Wasn't it 20? It wasn't a
Yeah,
20-year
it's-
note?
Yeah,
There's no way that we can address that and pay it off sooner? I know they said no, but we couldn't, have we ever discussed that with them? Maybe they're hard up for money,
you can. But I don't know,
what the penalty is?
well, I don't know where you're gonna get the money.
How much is left on our loan?
Over $1 million.
It's still over $1 million?
Yeah,
That's-
it was a $2 million loan,
Yeah.
That was for 20 years? I don't
30
remember.
years, I believe.
The loan on the road?
Yeah, it's $2 million for, was it 15?
I thought it-
Maybe 15 years.
I would say,
I
I don't
was
think it
gonna
was
say,
over
I-
20.
Yeah.
I thought it was slightly more than the lifespan of the
Right,
road
The
itself.
pavement, okay.
Yeah,
So that's one of my, I wanted to bring that to somebody's attention. But could we get an estimate for,
putting an overlay on the Lindsay Road.
right, exactly. And isn't there a program, if we bring all of our roads and pave them, and then we start repaving them, wasn't there some sort of reimbursement from the state? Hamden seemed to used to do that all the time.
No,
There was no money from
No.
the state for you maintaining your roads?
no, we get,
It was
What
for
they
state
call it-
road, right? That-
we get what they call Europe money. Used to be local road assistance money.
Mhm.
And that's probably what Hamden was getting and applying it,
Oh, I see.
because you're required to use it towards capital improvements.
Right.
We do get that every year,
How much is that, do you know off the top of your head?
$25,000.
Okay.
But,
Because if we don't address that road in a pretty stern fashion,
yeah,
it's really humped and bumped and potholy. And I know we had that really cold spell, so the frost was just driven right in the ground.
and that road was done 2 years prior to us doing all the paving.
Yes, it was, I was gonna
Because
say,
Lanes did that one,
yeah. And,
so.
and I know we've always had that's always been kind of a stickler road. It's
Yeah.
got like a spring living underneath the road in one area
Yeah,
there.
yeah, but it's lasted good.
Yes, it sure
Right
has.
now, there's just 2 little potholes and they're kind of close together.
Yeah,
So you just remember where they are
yeah,
and
right there just before Glenn's
slow
house.
down to
on the
avoid
hill.
them.
Well, there's some right after Brent's too, there's a couple there.
Yeah,
But I'm just bringing that up because I think if there's any one thing we should fix,
yeah,
even if we
yeah,
paved from this point to this point,
yeah.
you know, from
I'll get
Bates
that
Road
taken to the
to,
budget committee and Buddy will love that.
okay.
They're always wanting to add more money to that road budget. for
Exactly.
maintenance.
I just think that we should address it before it gets
Yep,
patch upon patch and
just do an overlay.
just do an overlay and hold it for a few more
Yeah.
years.
Cause the road's not broke up to speak of.
No,
No.
but I think if you kept it sealed up and
Yeah.
everything, you'll help it not
Yeah.
break up too.
Yeah,
And,
Yeah.
you
and
know,
that's all they put on that before. They didn't do a lot of work to that,
yeah,
like we did the other roads,
Right.
grinding and that sort of stuff.
yeah,
So, I mean, that road's lasted quite good.
right.
So-
And, you know, Wellman's did do a very good job on our roads.
Yeah,
Our center seal was
yeah,
overlapped and
yeah,
they've really done a good
Yeah.
job, so anyway.
so
That's
I
all.
will get with the mayor and
Okay.
see what he says.
Okay, anybody got anything else? Anything? Brian? All right, it is, let's see. It is 6:53 PM and I will make a motion to adjourn.
I got it. Second?
Second, all in favor, 3-0, we are adjourned.